Welcoming from the Jurassic Fans Podcast. We got none other than helmsman himself, Daniel Rodrigues. Welcome.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, thank you for having us here.
Hey.
Yeah, it's so much fun that we have actually been brought to a podcast that has a bigger audience because you're actually doing things right.
There you go. Get those numbers, baby.
Yeah, we have like 60 countries. I can only imagine how many you got.
You know, I'm always impressed by. I'll get fan mail for an episode we did 2 years ago. I'm like, well, better later than never. Glad you heard it. You know, you can never, again, you can't predict success. We also got in the studio Jack O'Hara. Welcome.
Hello. How are we doing, everybody?
We're trying to not get killed by compies, but the Raptors aren't having it. They're still pounding at the door. So we better.
Oh Lord! Well, we got some time before the breakthrough.
All that is holy and Michael Crichton. We got.
He said the thing.
Got trouble.
Oh God!
So the Jurassic Park games have been developed by several companies, from DreamWorks Corporation to Ocean Software to Sega and Vivendi Universal. So it is much like the movie franchise, much like the books. It has been a mega success for the distributors. So, you know, I heard how there was one for the original movie, as well as an arcade. I had friends all throughout junior high and high school and college who remember for years playing the various Lost World games, including some that had original voice power and original story and character and even freakier gameplay, kind of like Dino Crisis. And for years, there was a Lost World arcade game that was at every other mall, every other bowling alley. And I played the awful Operation Genesis game where you could build a park and it just had choppy controls and it wouldn't work. And of course, in recent years, there's been those virtual reality Jurassic World games that you can get at any other Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, the aftermath. Yeah.
What was your foray into this? Because as we were saying off air, you know, it's like there's several games you play that I've not played, and that, you know, Jack hasn't played, but he's played this that Daniel hasn't played. So I just knew when we introduced this, much like the comic books based on popular TV shows and movies, this is going to be an interesting just foray into seeing whether they're making good use of the license versus whether it's just making cheap cash-ins that are just disappointing fans. So, well, welcome up, Daniel. What were some games using Crichton and Spielberg's Jurassic Park label that really caught your attention and made you say that was a badass game?
Oh, all right. So there's a bit of a specificity, right? Because I've played a mini game, and
yeah, there's plenty of bad ones. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to mainly focus on the good ones if we can.
Oh, all right. Okay, let me try and make my list smaller here. Let me see. All right. So one of the older ones that was actually great was the Rampage edition. Jack might remember this one. So you basically have like the basics for the vanilla version. That is just, you know, Alan Grant walking through the jungle, killing dinos. That's a 2D game. But then the Rampage edition made everything faster, and the soundtrack is much more accelerating.
So, oh, wow. So it's like John Williams on steroids. Perfect.
Yeah. Man went on drugs that day.
I saw they made a Lego one as well as a, what they call, Jurassic World Alive, which is kind of a Pokemon Go style game.
It's worse than that.
I'm like, that is insane. So they really kept going back to, you know, there was the survival games for a while, but they would always keep going back to the various create your own world and try and keep the dinos maintained.
Yeah, it's
like the Sims kind of.
You made an interesting one that is a GW Alive, right? Because you have the whole thing about collecting DNA. You have to send your, like, a tiny, what is that? Is it a hover? Jack, you played this game?
Funny enough, no, not Alive. I haven't played, but it's a drone. I know from watching my man, the Gaming Beavers videos for countless hours of my life.
Yeah, like I played this one for a while, but it ain't as fun as the other games. And even Pokemon Go beats it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it's fun if you go out and about and if you live that active lifestyle. But if we got curious fans and writers such as you and me, Dan, we don't tend to do outside very much. So
No, no, no.
we like our our claustrophobic hallway possum kind of games and stuff. Which
Hell, you want to talk CD-ROMs? I saw there was a Jurassic Park
Oh.
interactive one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm looking at this one, and it really is reminding me of the Toy Story Activity Center, where again the thing just freezes for a minute, then replays when you haven't done a certain task. It was the next best thing back in the '90s, and now you look at it now, and you're just like, yeah, but it's just outdated green screen. It's not really much of a game.
Yeah, from the older ones, there is also the TOW for PlayStation. Jack, if you remember this one, so like you could be a whole roster of different creatures, right? Including compies.
Yep, I never got to play the Ride Adventures, and I never got to even do the 2001, Universal Studios one. But
yeah,
it's interesting how they've all varied in some capacity.
yeah, but you see, like these survival ones, they seem to be the favorite in like the whole fan base. But now they just stopped doing that. The latest one that I remember in that side was Aftermath, and it's so rather specific because you gotta have the VR. And the graphics for that thing, they make me dizzy. So once I play it.
Well, I mean, you can only assume that that's because of the whole like the risk versus reward kind of way that games are made these days. I mean, like you look at like say the Grand Theft Auto series, right? Like it's been damn near. Yeah, I know you would laugh at that.
I would love.
So it's been.
I just been picturing that. I'm sorry.
It's been 10. So it's been nearly 10 years since GTA 5 came out, right? And that's because it was a massive AAA game at the time. And if you look at, like you say, Dan, if you look at Rockstar's track record before that, they made a new game maybe every 2 years. The longest stretch they had between games was 4 and 5, which was ironically about 4 or 5 years or something like that, I'm thinking. So yeah, and now, like you say, it's been a whole decade because not only has the way that games are bought and played changed, but also because like it doesn't feel as safe to make like fun like out there kind of games anymore for like companies and stuff like that. So that's why I imagine because I mean like you think about the ones I'm familiar with, the JPOG and Jurassic World Evolution 2. They're both obviously the same style game, and they made that Evolution 2 because they knew that for years that's what people wanted. They wanted like because choppy as it may be, the JPOG was one of the probably the biggest like well received kind of Jurassic Park game because it was different from all the ones you were describing before, Dan. It's a sandbox. You get to make your own vision, try to make it work for the second time. So that's why if any game they're ever going to try to remake, it would obviously be the one where you get to immerse yourself for hours upon this sort of thing rather than playing like more of a linear setup sort of structured game.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever play any of the Game Boy games or Atari games?
I mean, I remember playing. Oh God, what was it called? It was the Jurassic Park 3 builder, I believe it was.
Yeah, that was.
I saw they had a bunch of those that were basically dino fighting games, and I'm like, see, those look fun. I would have definitely tried them back in the day if I could have.
Yeah,
the best ones I saw reviewed were that I'm looking up is like, the Lost World arcade game was great. You would have to step in and out of a car and try and avoid being attacked by raptors and try and find a shotgun. Trespassers was the main one for computer games, although I've never seen such mixed reviews. There's like every other place giving it a 1 out of 10 to others giving it an 80 out of 10. I'm like, good God.
Oh, Lord. Jesus Christ, Dan, you'd be able to answer that.
Warpath was a PlayStation game that was like set after Lost World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You recall all of those.
Yeah, Trespasser was the one that sent me down memory lane because you told
would have to circle around the Triceratops and there's creepy music playing.
Yeah, but like the graphics are horrendous. They are, yeah, because that's a pretty old game. But I was playing that with the whole sound effects. Had to adapt that for.
I'm PC, sure they're outdated.
Yeah, but like that was the first game to have ragdoll physics, as far as I can remember. So there's that to it. there is also the fact that like the raptors and even the other dinosaurs, they are programmed to have a different behaviors. They don't all attack you, and they don't all attack you the same way. Like with the raptors, they are so stealthy. They will come to you, and you won't even see them. So all you see is all of a sudden some pixelated blood, and you die, and your avatar is screaming bloody murder. So there is that.
Yeah, kind of a missed opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, and there are the ramps in that bloody game that took me like a few days just to beat the ramps. They're harder than the dinosaurs themselves. Not good with those physics.
Gotta like these odds.
The thing is, I've never played Trespasser myself, but the thing I've known most notoriously from that game is obviously everything Dan said, but also there's like a series of videos you can watch these days. People have ripped the audio from the game and put it on YouTube with these very beautiful visuals. It's this thing called Hammond's Memoirs, and it's how he goes into describing how he first,
That sounds boring as hell.
You would think so, but if you're super into the lore, like I am
the
myself,
mad scientist.
oh mate, it's stunning listening to how all this stuff sort of tries to connect to the movies and tries to make it like set up. Like,
when you think Richard Attenborough, you want to see him narrate a PBS documentary.
Honestly, I mean, with who his brother is, I mean, it was part of the ground. I was thinking like, well, this is about the closest thing you can get to
Dino
that.
Comfort, and it's
it's in
private home.
It's it was. I was just listening to it again the other day in preparation for this, and
you had Tom from the main Jurassic Park podcast on Jurassic Tom, and that was cool.
Oh yes, absolutely, and I don't know, something about just like kind of listening to it in kind of like an audiobook format. It just like I don't know, it was special. It's special, that Trespasser, as you imagine.
Yeah, I think like for incredibly die-hard Jurassic fans, that's some gems right there. Because you hear all these details of how the park was formed. I was playing that the other day, and I heard Hammond himself saying, because they, as far as I can remember, they recorded a Taboro's voice for that, right? So yeah, so like you hear this old Santa Claus guy that you love so much. He is telling you that one day he was in Norman's office, which, by the way, I mean, that's the name of his partner in the novel. It's right there. Why did they have to introduce freaking Lockwood all of a sudden in 2018?
Didn't play the game. The creators didn't play the game.
Apparently not. Yeah.
Someone in the and they said, "Oh, I vaguely remember it."
Vaguely.
Called Lockwood. Yeah, that's
I think his name was Lockwood, wasn't he? He was old. He had a manor, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Wild.
So,
what would you? Are you surprised they never crossed over with Dino Crisis or one of those other similar games?
Check.
Wow,
They should have used at least the same gaming engine. If I were Spielberg, I would have been like, "Get me those guys. You're hired."
You know what? It's strange that you mentioned that as well,
because we love Spielberg. Don't get me wrong, but he is a rare mixture of entertaining, serious, and a businessman all at the same time.
Indeed.
Give it to someone else. They'll make money. They'll love it.
We'll try it out, see what happens. If it's all good, I'll bring it back to me. So
bring it around town.
You got it. So no, I was never really like surprised that they never tried to like cross over with any sort of other established kind of dino games or medium or anything, because I've always sort of seen Jurassic as like the definitive. It's like the thing that people pay attention to when it comes to either dinosaur accuracy, lore, or any of that sort of stuff.
There was that other one too, Turok, I think it was.
Oh yeah,
they did like
Turok,
5 of those, and I was always see them, and I'm not kidding. I would see demos in like the lobbies of like malls, and I'm like, this is creeping me out. I must play this.
Yeah. No, definitely. But no, like, because like I said, I never played Turok either myself. I watched it a couple of years ago, play on YouTube. But yeah, no, like, I mean, what even to say about that? Like, no, I don't think it's ever like I don't feel like I've missed out on anything with like different sorts of various companies like crossing over and stuff like that. No, I think it's always been pretty good with what we kind of gotten. But yes, you're definitely right. There could be some more things coming, hopefully sometime in the future. That would be nice if they tried to do a bit of spice of variety or something like that.
like back in the day, I would be quite surprised actually if they did some kind of crossover, just because today I made a post about it. Back in 1903, Spielberg, he was presenting this idea of an animated series for Jurassic Park,
Really?
and apparently he didn't even look at it. Like, nah, there's enough Jurassic Park, with
We've
like
done too
the
much.
merch. Yeah. So he didn't want like too many other things that could branch out. Maybe I don't really know why. I would love to have that kind of thing, but whatever.
Maybe Amblin
So
was too busy doing the billionth, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain.
hey, actually,
Yeah.
I like that. Um,
I don't know. This is
but
just speculation, guys. I don't know.
no, truly. But the thing is that I don't think back in the day he would enjoy that kind of thing. He would go against it actually. But nowadays, no, Trevorrow's there at the helm, and well, if you look at the movies, you see that much has changed. So why not? Huh?
Nice.
It's a bit depressing, but we might be at the verge of seeing some kind of crossover with other games.
You're right. Might as well.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, Jack, I had you had told me that there were other games that you had played as well, right? Besides like Park Builders.
You know what? So I don't know if you've been able to tell so far yet, Cam, but so yeah, Dan has obviously delved into a lot more of the like variety of these kinds of games, whereas I played, I think, a set 4 of them really. And funny enough, for each 4 of those, I do have special little memories and stories with each of them. So what it was JPOG, it was Jurassic Park the game, not Jurassic World the game, but Jurassic Park the game, which is a Telltale series game. I had obviously Jurassic World the game, which was on mobile, but really that didn't really go anywhere. And then of course the JPOG, I can't say the words right, the Jurassic World Evolution series, like the 2 games that came out from that. So I always told myself I wouldn't bother telling this story, but essentially what happened was, oh god, you got me on air now. So what happened was, when I was a young fella, back in like young school, I had just watched the Jurassic Park movies for the first time in around maybe 05 or so. So we had like all of them available. They all came on Cartoon Network. Very censored, as you can imagine. Every time someone died,
I would imagine. Yeah.
just skipped ahead, just completely jump cut. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So eventually ended up, I watched them and stuff like that. But anyway, that's when my fascination sort of started to grow from this franchise. So I swear to you, I promise, I don't know where this came from, but one of my mates brought along this cracked version of Jurassic Park Operation Genesis on a single like 2 gigabyte thumb drive back in the day.
No.
Oh, it was incredible. I could not believe it. I watched him just plug it into this computer and just boot it up, and I was like, this is insane. This looks amazing. What is this game? And it had all the ambience and all the noises and all the audio that every JPOG fan knows very well. And oh my god, mate, I played that game for countless hours when I probably should have been getting on with homework and school stuff done. And so what happened was, and so what happened eventually after that was this people started, obviously I would always, all my friends would go out and play, soccer or whatever they used to do at my little rinky-dink little, rodeo town.
Football.
I would go straight to probably. So I would go to the computer labs. We had like this two single rooms right at the end of one of these blocks that just had like 20 computers in each, so about 40 computers between them. So I would go in there and I would start playing the game. I just plug it in, boot it up, and do all the exes, etc., and so forth. And obviously it started to catch on, and people started looking around, and they were like, "Wow, what is that? That looks so cool!" And I explain it, and I start giving copies of it out to people who come and ask for it and stuff like that, like on their personal local drive users and stuff like that. So by the time, maybe about a week or so after that, I swear to you, every one of those like 40 computers lined up in rows had nothing but jungle noises and dinosaur roars and screaming and stuff. And I would walk in to go play my time on it. The entirety block was filled, and the teacher would just turn and look at me like, this is not what I wanted to spend my lunch hour listening to, kids. This is all your fault. You have absolutely ruined any kind of like sense of like time, because all the kids, it was like the wildfire of the school. Like people wanted to come through and they wanted to play this game for a while and try to make either dinosaurs fight or make their own park, or just listen to like all the messages from Dr. Grant or whatever. And it was just, for me, it was something special to me when I started doing that. And eventually, obviously that kind of died down after a while. And I don't even remember what website it was. I think it was, Jesus, this was like 15 years ago. It could have been jp.org or something. And it was very long ago, right?
Oh, you're ancient.
Oh my God, I'm very ancient, Dan. That's why I've never let you see my face, mate.
Ancient Dan.
So JPOG. So what happened was, I was, again, back in the early 2000s, I would just look up anything I ever could about, deleted scenes from the movies and everything. And eventually I came across jp.org. I don't even know if the site's still up now, but
jp.org. Love it.
Jesus Christ. So what I was on this site, or
GeoCities, baby.
Yeah. So on this website, they had like Operation Genesis, like as a centered page, and I looked at that and I was like, oh, what is this? This is cool. And I looked at it, and that was my first introduction to the idea of like movie skin accurate mods. I had no idea what a mod was. I had no idea how to install it or anything. So I ended up looking through how to do all that and stuff, and eventually, I installed it, and I'm like, oh, this isn't working. So it made me feel like a weird kind of specialness with it, because I got to actually go into the code like they used to do in the movie, and I would have to go behind the scenes. I'd have to look at the values of like the trees, and I'd have to edit the tree number, and I'd have to edit the path length and everything, and I'd have to edit which skins and which maps would come in. And ever since then, like it like set my like modding phrase. Like even to this day, when I do be modding Jurassic World Evolution 2 quite a lot, still a lot easier these days, thankfully. But it's still kind of like set the precedent, I guess you'd say, for doing that for me. So yeah, JPOG, it's always held a very special, I guess you call it, very special kind of place in my heart, because yeah, it was the first time I could ever remember making like a proper movie accurate like Isla Sorna, and I'd used to like look at Google Images and just like see how the movies had it all structured. I'd try to replicate the stuff from the movies as accurately as I could, and I'd try to make the right skins, the right animals. I'd try to make like a little group of survivors that would have to try to survive on the island, and that's essentially the gist of it. Like you make your own imagination with it as you play these sorts of games. So that's why it was always very special to me.
Man.
No stitching.
Yeah. Well, no, that's like my one massive story I got for you. So.
No.
And it's wild how it kind of influences you in a way. Like just
it really does, yeah. It's
like I look over my shoulder sometimes, like I would like the dinos in the movie. It just kind of much like Jaws, it brings up people's insecurities. So no wonder, that or Alien. It just there's something about these that have just kind of embedded. And much like Terminator, I was just always surprised how it should have had a bunch of awesome games, but kind of like Star Wars, it just depended on the developer or the mood you were feeling that really determined whether it was worth it or not.
Yeah, because I was thinking that, funny enough, actually, the other day, Cam, I was watching someone play the new RoboCop game, and I was thinking, this looks incredible. This looks like something post, like, movie. I was like, why haven't we got a Terminator game like this specifically? I know we had that other one a few years ago, but yeah,
right.
It was but you're playing as a survivor, obviously, which again, I imagine you would be. But yeah, why haven't we got like just a movie accurate thing, and you get Arnie to come back and voice himself in the game? I'm not sure why we haven't ever got one of those.
Yeah, he did it with Predator, but that's a different story,
Yes, he did.
There's been a lot of cool Alien versus Predator games, but again, by that time, I wasn't able to sneak in any computer games that were for a mature audience.
No, absolutely not. So the other two games I remember playing very well was the one that came out in 2011. Now when it came out in Telltale, it was one of Telltale's last games they made, I believe, before they went bankrupt, and then they came back, and then they got bankrupt again, and then they came back. Was Jurassic Park Operation? Sorry, damn it, too many JPOGs. Jurassic Park, the game, which was believe it or not, I believe the last title game they ever made.
The final?
The final one before it changed over to Jurassic World, because after 2011 it went on, Dan knows, it went on hiatus until the 2015 when the Jurassic World came out and the rebrand, I can't think of the word. But anyway, yeah, it's so when I played this game for the first time, like there was something like because again I played JPOG my entire life, but as soon as I started playing this Telltale game, something was different about it. It was like immediately it plops you right back on New Blood with the classic orange font, and it explains what it is, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like during the events of the movie. Yeah, this is a side quest. This is my first introduction to like side quests. So yeah, and it was I don't know, I really enjoyed that game because not only does it like kind of fill in like other gaps and stuff during the movie, like you see like the helicopter that's taken Hammond and Grant and all them off the island, like as it happens, as at the end of the movie. Yeah,
shoot it down. No,
yeah, they see it flying away, and I'm like, oh, that's the chopper. That's the thing from the movie.
The chopper.
Yeah, and then they come to the visit, like and they come to the visitor center and everything, and it's like, oh, and it's all wrecked. And I'm like, oh, I know what happened here. Oh no, y'all shouldn't be here. So. Like, you know, that was the other one. Now that game, I have no idea why, but like you said, it kind of imprints itself on you, and that like I installed that game on maybe 5 different computers.
That's how addicting it was.
It's so weird because like I played it like just like you say, like just like what's the word? Like periodically, once a year or so. Like I'd like, cause like obviously, you know, you play it through once, you know what it's about, and you know how to beat it and everything. But like still, like you know, you play because it's kind of becomes like a comfort blanket for you after a while. Like you just like, nah, this is good.
So in a way, it was kind of your golden eye, where it took you a while to kind of remember, hey, maybe I should actually go back and watch the movie.
Yeah, maybe there's something else involved with all this sort of stuff. Yeah. But then fast forward to, I think it was 2018, I believe, and the reveal of that we're getting a new park simulator building, my inner like JPOG kid just started like, oh, you can imagine. I was like, oh, they're making a new one? No way. And the fences can bend now? What do you mean? I could not believe it. My head was through the roof just thinking about like the prospect of having like a HD version of like what JPOG was for me back in the day. Because even back then, like, you know, you could mod it to the ends of the earth, but it is still at the core the same sort of game. So the idea that you could like play this new one where you get to go across the Los Cinco Muertes, the 5 deaths from the Lost World movie, and everything like that.
Right, before you go to a clickbait, the most glorious moments in a PG-13 movie.
So. Well, but like the idea that you could like explore these other islands and like they build different sorts of various facilities on all those. I was like, this is speaking to my like inner fanboy here and trying to explore all these things. And then weirdly enough, I do remember when Evolution 2 kind of got announced, and I was like, oh really? Really? It was weird, man. It was like the first time. Maybe it was because I was at work, but it was the first time I remember feeling like. Not like disappointed, but like just kind of confused. I was like, wait, what? We're getting another one? Why are we doing this? Why are we getting another one? And then, of course, it starts to explain, like, obviously it takes place after the 5th movie, and you have different terrains and environments and stuff. And I'm like, I guess this can be all right. But the weird thing was, I was, like, worried because, like, for the first time, I was like, well, you can't have a Jurassic Park game off the island. You can't have one, like,
That's no good.
That's what? What is this?
Apparently you can.
Yeah, well, and the thing was, you call me a nostalgia baby or whatever, but like I was like, but are we still going to get to play on the islands at all, or are we not doing on the islands anymore? Like, why would we want to do that?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we doing? Why is this unfamiliar? I don't like it. So and then obviously they got the reveal that they have like a Site B kind of like chaos mode where it like explains to you like that you can you can still be on the islands. I for the first time ever, man, full grown man here, I almost cried when I saw the new Eastern New Far, like the more vivid, beautiful one. I have no idea why. It just like swelled up. I was like,
it is some good imagery, you know?
Yeah. I was like, this is glorious. Oh, love it. So yeah, no, and of course I still play that game to today. I played it just last week, setting up a new park, and it's still been receiving such good like updates and stuff that they just announced like a new pack once again for
That's
it.
cool.
Like, I think last night.
I hate it when. I mean, I can only feel for gamers, you know, when a game just fails to get a sequel that's been announced or an update that's been promised and it's still clunky AI, you know?
Yes,
so
that's still got a few of those dramas.
But like, what was it? I think there was a Friday the 13th game that people were playing, and then due to a copyrights issue that was ongoing, it impacted the further development of the game. I'm like, for real? I would give up gaming if that happened to me. I would be like.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like the company responsible for making the movie, they sued the
I saw there were some canceled Jurassic Park games, and some of them sound really cool.
That's true, you know.
They were unsure what to do with the license. They were always announcing a fourth movie, and Steven gets busy, so it took a while.
That's so stupid, man. Like, if you can't do a survival game like your fan base wants, let other guys do it.
Might
Or
as well,
better,
man.
just
Something.
hire them.
Licensing, that's how it always works.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. Yeah, like they are prioritizing themselves, but I guess that's how capitalism works, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
And some of it is just as bizarre as some of these Lord of the Rings games. They had one that came out simultaneously when the first movie came out, but it wasn't following that. It was following it, based on the book, but using a similar art style as the movie poster. So you're just like, I see what you're doing. Very tricky there, So I'm surprised Jurassic Park didn't have as many clones as they did. The most you had was just people doing stupid dinosaur movie knockoffs, or adapting other Crichton books to lesser extent. So
yeah, totally. Jack, you said that you started with J Park. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you see,
that's the one.
I started with a Jurassic Park Builder on the mobile, and then I went like,
oh wow,
I kept digging
really?
deeper to find the other ones, the really old ones, because like JP Builder was actually pretty interesting, because you got like some affection for each one of those dinos, maybe because it takes an eternity for them to be born. And like I remember in 2015 that the Indominus was introducing JP Builder, and it cost you like a real life money, like $40.
Yep.
And
first and last one they introduced to do that method, and then the game after that sort of just kind of ceased. And then Jurassic World, the game came out, and then they started focusing on that.
But you know what I think is really funny about that? So you see, like so many people were buying that and actually using Dominus in like the PvP arena. Oh, guess what? None of them seem to know how to use a dinosaur. So they paid real life money for it. And like in JP Builder, there were weaknesses, like the carnivores would be weak to aquatic creatures, the aquatic creatures to herbivores, and the herbivores to pterosaurs, I guess. Now, does it make sense? That's up to you. I'm just saying that.
I mean, I played Pokemon a few times. That makes sense.
Yeah, sure. So my point is that, like, we knew how to play. We loved that game. I remember that the Gaming Beaver started on that one in his channel, and that's how he grew as well. He actually even had like a heartfelt a memorial for JP Builder when it was cancelled.
Yeah, no, I do. I actually did watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, remember that? So it was quite moving.
That man is on episode like 540 something now. It is insane how long he's been able to keep that one game alive for. That's crazy.
Bloody legend. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I knew what to use against the bought with real life money and Dominus, and what was even the point then of buying if you don't know how to use it? You think that just because you bought it, it's going to be OP? No,
that's clearly, not. Man. I mean, that's how it works, Dan. You buy the thing, it must be good, right?
Yeah, nah.
No, dude.
Gosh, that was... Oh, man, going down memory lane. Pretty sad.
Yeah. It's puzzling, though, too. I'd like to... I mean, I'm sure you or the Jurassic Park podcast have no shortage of people to interview who have worked on various stages of anything from marketing to behind the scenes to visual effects, but it would be cool to just talk to someone who, what was going on in the boardrooms at the time in pitching these various ideas. It's like The Sims, but with dinos. It's like these other RPGs with Star Wars, but you have them attack or you stop them from tearing the park apart.
GDP Live just came to existence because of Pokemon Go, so they were
I wasn't too hot on the Jurassic World movies, but that virtual reality that they did, that first one, that was very dope. That had perfect Foley, perfect interaction, perfect amount of shaking you around like a roller coaster.
Sure, I mean, if you're into it, I should respect that. I should.
I can hear the strain in your voice there, Dan.
Trying to be polite out here.
No, it's fine. There's plenty of games to infamous movies that are worth a look at, just because it's interesting to see what someone can do with a license versus what becomes a cluster.
really? Yeah.
Yes, that is true indeed.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Jack, I watched that vid that you sent me about. So there was produced by Clayton Fiorini. So he had his whole vid about a specific detail of Trespasser that was a Biosyn spy. Another one that was killed in sauna. He tried to approach Hammond to get some Jurassic Park secrets, and he was torn into pieces.
Well, they never say though, Dan, if he was working for Biosyn. No, we don't. You never say that. That's
Did you see the video that you
mysterious.
sent me?
I did. I rewatched it. I was
Yeah,
like,
and you remember that like the evidence is quite heavy. That he worked for Biosyn. Like there was a piece of a chopper that literally read Biosyn.
Ah, damn! He got me out.
Wild.
Like what? He just decided to paint down the chopper.
Well, all about I can't think of the words called. I can't think of what it's called.
He's trying to save face, but he's really not helping his case. Is what it sounds like.
No, certainly not.
Oh, wow. The future seems bright, though. Maybe we'll have more survival games in the future.
Totally. Just do anything from a shoot 'em up to have BD Wong come back as his doctor who introduces you as a scientist and you can shoot. Imagine if they had like a more interactive RPG, like you can choose if you want to be a scientist versus a security guard versus
Oh yeah,
a rescue worker who's going to retrieve a bounty hunter who's there to, a MERT guy who's there to do the dino patrols, and get people
just like
out.
classes in like an RPG.
Right, you level up, and as it goes on, you can unlock more stuff.
Yeah, precisely. Well, that'd be lovely. Come on, Universal, make that happen.
Yeah, there's time, guys.
The dream is not dead yet. What is the name of that guy who produced that Camp Cretaceous, Jack?
Oh Jesus!
Pushing the question for you today.
That guy.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the guy. Oh, damn it!
Come
Swerve
on.
was just talking about him. Swerve was just talking about him. I can't remember, but I know he's coming back for the new show as well. I can't think of what his name is though. But yes, I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither. But you see, first off, how come that guy has like so few followers on Instagram? Man's amazing. The series he produced is crappy, but the person,
perspectives, but yeah.
You see, Jack, he is a huge fan of Camp Cretaceous.
So, Dan here, he likes to tease quite a bit, but I quite enjoy that show. He's quite neutral on that show, so he loves every single podcast video. He loves to just jab just a little bit there, just a little bit.
Have they thought of doing any game based on the TV cartoon show?
I know they made I think it was just a little 8-bit on a web page kind of game for Camp Cretaceous.
Really?
But it was more like a learning game, as you can imagine, because kids be watching it. So I'm like, oh, it technically counts.
Well, I mean, there is also the interactive episode on Netflix, if that counts as a Camp Cretaceous game.
Oh, that's right. Very good point, Dan. Yeah, no, they made this interactive episode you could watch on Netflix where you get to choose which way they kind of go and what the sort of ideas and stuff they sort of do. To be fair, I only died twice doing that, so you know what? I feel that is partial success.
Yeah, but that's the point, that you actually die. That's the thing I've been waiting for years on end.
Why do I get the feeling? Why do I get the feeling, Dan? If you were playing that, you tried to intentionally throw them off a cliff.
I did it many a time and recorded that.
You.
Yeah, then I added that with the audio of dumb ways to die and posted that on Instagram. People loved it.
Oh God! Thank goodness I found you after that.
Yeah, because it's on Netflix. Many a person cannot play it, so they were so glad to see those campers die.
Damn it, man! Damn it!
Am I the psychopath here? If the public is glad to see that.
Well, everybody can make up their own minds with that himself. Whereas me, I try my best to always make sure they try to at least live, at least most of them. So that's the goal at the end of the day.
You see, Jack is writing a story, to be published later on, and it has a few deaths, but mostly it's wholesome, which is different from the book I published.
Yeah, well, you know what? As you can imagine, two very different sort of authors here, but it should be interesting. Hopefully, if ever it does end up seeing the light of day, because it's obviously in a bit of limbo with the new show having been announced, and I want to try to make it as close to the actual official material as possible. So for to do that, I actually got to see the new stuff to actually be able to do that in the first place. So
you kind of went on a hiatus now, waiting for the new series?
very brief hiatus, starting a second little novel in the middle. So hopefully we shall see how well that one turns out as well.
Yeah, because Chaos Theory is right upon us, right?
Well, once again we shall see next year sometime.
Yeah. Oh man, I have no hopes for the series. Truly, have none.
Ooh.
I mean, Kim, have you seen the trailer for that, Kim? Or maybe even a teaser?
I watched it.
The thing is that but yeah, the graphics they look lovely, especially because when you remember Camp Cretaceous, the seasons 1 and 2, the graphics were hideous, just because they were going to spend a whole lot of cash on something that they didn't know would become such a great profit for them, but then again, I want more than that, It's not realistic that everyone survives. It's literally not.
You're not wrong there, but even still.
Well,
children's show, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Kim, I don't know if you're searching for it, if you're Googling it, but I'm not sending that to you so that you can watch it now, maybe later on.
You're gonna send him the 46 seconds?
Yeah, that pretty short teaser that is just, T-Rex roaring and Dario showing up all badass and going, yeah, I'm the Ringo some dinos.
Nah, but I don't think he knows who Darius is, Dan.
Just go ahead and forward it to me. Let's look at this. Okay. Chaos Theory.
Oh boy. Here it goes.
Oh, a reaction video, nice.
A live reaction.
I love giving Beaver's reaction. Everyone else is like, oh, look at that.
He was a little less whelmed with it than most people have been I've seen, but fair is fair to everybody, I guess.
Oh,
interesting. Looking at the trailer now.
I mean, look at it.
Interesting.
I just wish it could be more mature than Camp Cretaceous, right?
But Dan, he's literally more mature now than he was last time.
Coming 2024. Yeah, I don't know. But hey, I'm sure it'll get an audience. I'm sure it'll be interesting. And we just need somebody to kill time once in a while,
Well, look, man, I see that and I see raw potential. I'm like, oh, this could be a fun time. We shall see how well this unfolds.
I mean, everything has an audience.
Dad, don't screw your face up.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win. On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Breakfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Breakfast time. Listen at breakfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Lordy. And I much prefer your novel, actually, Jack, because, the characters, they actually feel like real people, and the interactions and the romance that I hate, but it's necessary.
You should say tolerate. I tolerate it.
I know.
Tolerate you.
Yeah, definitely. No. I'm looking forward to all of that sort of stuff. But Yeah, no. So here's the thing, right? So about the Jurassic, I think it was. Damn it, which one was this one? Now we're talking about
Chaos
Jurassic,
theory.
Jurassic.
We would bring up the Dr. Ian Malcolm line.
Like it's funny actually, Cam. I was saying this to Dan last podcast we were doing, but it's fascinating to me that it's taken us nearly 30 years now. Actually, 30 years to get some kind of Jurassic titled Chaos Theory. Like you feel like that would have been a game, like you imagine back in like the mid like the late 90s. I feel like that would have been like some kind of like math game or something like that. Where you have to like figure out the probable chances of the part working out or not. Yeah.
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 It makes
exactly.
a crossword puzzle look like nothing.
Definitely.
man.
Yeah, but it's always been kind of fascinating to me how we never actually got anything with that title like years ago now, and that we're using it for.
Yeah, why now?
I mean,
it's strange.
they were supposed to, right? Remember that series that was also cancelled? That other animated series from the 90s. There was like the amalgamation of creatures. Like there was the amalgamation of a Parasaurolophus and a Deinonychus.
Very vaguely. I remember something like that.
Yeah, that was called Chaos something. So we almost had that, but then again, they got the X.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
As they do.
We're so depressed, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot to take in.
It is indeed.
Yeah, I guess it's just a bit sad, a bit gloomy to see your favorite franchise going downhill like that.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it this way: if it gets you interested in the real deal, I'm cool with that. Like, if you got to watch a cheesy '80s Ewok or Droids cartoon to be a Star Wars fan, cool. If you got to watch the R-rated Lower Decks in order to become a Star Trekky guy, then that's cool too. Same thing
and
with
the Christmas special.
If you want to watch any of the stupid cartoons, Bill and Ted or Back to the Future, again, to understand, become familiar with it, cool. Just don't claim it's the best of the thing that it has to offer. If you got to watch young Indiana Jones to become an Indy Jones fan, cool. Just whatever gets it out there, whatever makes it,
whatever keeps it uplifted.
Yeah, I'll take it over Disney doing endless remakes just to keep their license.
Man, I'm terrorized by the fact that Disney might, just yoink this franchise out of our hands.
And people get so distracted by Nazis and other fascist trolls on the internet. I'm like, yeah, but those don't represent all the rest of us who are tired of formulaic material. Is like, okay, so yeah, the newest, adaptation, The Marvels, flopped. And obviously there's some sexist, racist trolls on there. That's not the rest of us who are just tired of oversaturated DC and Marvel stuff. So same thing with, Little Mermaid. And it's like, okay, yeah, there were some racists who bashed the movie before it was even out. I was just like, that's not the problem. The problem is it's just another unneeded animated to live action remake.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to take your kid to it, go for it. But
I think I drew the line at No, after you.
Yeah, well, you see, I just think it's funny that every other red-haired character in Disney is being replaced by a black person, like why specifically redheads? But sure,
they're just trying to get a wider audience. But I think it's just a matter of depending on who the filmmaker is, whether it's actually progressive versus whether it's just a marketing ploy. And all I can say is marketing just sucks nowadays. Like half the time, the plot twist ending is given away in a trailer, or the movie's tone just is so not done very well. They pick the most cliche line of dialogue to put in there that's not even in the movie.
Look at Fallen Kingdom, 2018's Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah,
like the plot twist is there, like Miles, right? Is that his name? Yeah. So he is actually a villain,
And let's bring the director back, who was not pleasant to work with and wasn't following the script on the first one. Oh, let's redeem him and bring him back. I'm like, why? And let's rip off frames from the earlier two movies. Once again, them in the caves running away with a torch.
Precisely what they did. They just copy and paste.
I don't know anyone who liked Fallen Kingdom unless they were just completists. I
Wow,
saw
you
that
see?
on an airline, and I was
I'm sorry.
I'm the worst.
I love
Ah,
that.
yeah.
I love that.
You
Dan.
see, the thing is that that's my favorite sequel.
That's fine. Like what you like.
Yeah,
He says, a
indeed.
man of culture, I see.
Oh, well.
Oh, it's
Oh no,
brilliant.
this is
That was so
enlightening.
well done.
Right?
Yep, nope, that was great.
We all have bad sequels we love.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like a forbidden pleasure, you know.
Look at Alien
Everybody
versus
has-
Predator. You can
Well,
only
yeah.
accept it as a Frankenstein versus the Wolfman type movie or Godzilla movie. Don't take it as an actual Alien or a Predator movie.
I mean, Requiem, the thing that you can't even see the movie because it's too dark. There are
Yeah.
people who still have it.
Yeah, I could see it, but it's a valid complaint. It's too dark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
for me, it's
Yeah.
like Born Identity. I don't know. I'm just somehow able to keep track of the stuff. But some people have issues with the camera work in those. I think it's better than The Dark Knight, where the camera's shaking for no reason at all, and it's giving me a seizure. But in an otherwise solid movie. Well, and I mean, I see people also do the even or odd number rule with something like Nightmare on Elm Street or Star Trek, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to play that game.
No.
Like what you like. Even the bad sequels, you're going to probably watch a few different times because there's good elements in them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
I actually feel the same way about most of the Star Wars movies, actually, because for years growing up, I had always heard like, oh, the prequels are no good, they're no good, and these days I'm like, man, I will always look. It's like dead serious at someone whenever I look at someone and say, "You turned against me." I
Yeah.
will always
I saw
be
the
straight
prequels
in
a
there
bunch
for
of
that, you know?
times because they were
I
just
love
still groundbreaking.
Absolutely love them.
That was
Oh,
the year
absolutely.
where everything was trying to look like either that or The Matrix or Lord of the Rings and just have some big, large scale production. I think we
it's
just got
fascinating.
oversaturated because there were so many bad ones. People were remembering the bad knockoffs
Yeah.
that were trying to be like MTV or Matrix, you know,
Jesus,
Yeah,
I tell you.
I
had
mean,
a
like,
rap and electronic soundtrack, have a bunch of actors who can't do kung fu, boom, action, you know.
there are some folks whose favorite sequel is like a JB3, right? So if we've come to that point,
Oh, totally. Even the worst Marvel or X-Men or Superman movie has a fan out there.
yeah, the Minion has fans. Would you believe that? That's flabbergasting to me, mind-boggling.
Huh?
I feel very targeted, Dan.
It does, yeah. You see?
I feel like you're pointing me out.
It's
very much,
probably
bro.
it's probably DB Wong, BD Wong. There's something about his
Yeah.
monologues, man. I don't know.
Yes, I do enjoy
I don't
him
know.
as well. Yeah.
Maybe it's just the Chris Pratt factor. I don't know.
Yeah, that one guy. No, there is a password that I use somewhere. I can't say, but the password reads, "Why won't Brad die?"
Yeah, good question. I don't know. He was good in the Tomorrow War, but I kept expecting a zombie to come out of nowhere and kill someone.
Yeah, like he is still top bloody material in Hollywood these days. I don't see.
And now he's doing
enough,
voiceover work. Yeah.
Yes, it's a me. I'm aware. Yeah.
Yeah, freaking Garfield.
Oh my God.
Not even changing his voice.
Yeah, right? I mean, he didn't even do it as Mario.
Oh,
I was
Jesus.
like, that's
Yep.
Chris Pratt
Uh-huh.
as Mario.
Yeah.
Now, Jack Black, kudos. It's like, I knew he was playing Bowser, but I'm like, you kind of forget it's Jack Black after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy actually tried. No, but Crispy Rat could not.
Oh, here's a funny undercurrent for you guys that's going to rock your world. I was looking at some of the newer Godzilla movies, both the Roland Emmerich one from the 90s with Ferris Bueller, as well as the newer ones for Warner Brothers that crossover with King Kong. And I was noting what the critics had kind of noted, where they're kind of very Jurassic Park-esque, where they have amusing lines of exposition by the scientist characters and just similarly staged and filmed. And Godzilla fans, if there's any toxic fan base, oh man, they're like, you don't get it, man. I'm like, I totally get it. I've seen all the original Godzilla movies. I'm just saying this is more for the American audience. It's more of a Jurassic Park DNA.
Absolutely, man.
pun intended.
Absolutely.
And
Definitely.
Yeah.
I had some serious trolls. Like, so if there are a rude fan, don't get me wrong, Jurassic Park fans, pretty cool, in my experience at least.
Yeah. I mean, we don't
but
think about it
Godzilla,
this way.
Hellraiser, Star Wars fans, and even Marvel and DC guys, total pricks. Just
Yeah, they can certainly be.
it's just like
You know,
it makes me hate the fact that I get enjoyment from these movies at times. I'm like, or even the comics and games. It's like, come on, let's have fun
Yeah.
here.
no, absolutely. Like it's.
I don't
it's
rain
funny
on
that
your
you mentioned-
parade and tell you to not like
it's-
that awful sequel or game. Just have fun.
Yeah. No, it's funny that you mentioned that actually, Cam, because I was checking out
Gatekeeping,
before I
man.
jumped on the call. Yeah, exactly. Before I jumped on the call, I ended up just scrolling past somebody on Twitter. Oh, sorry, X. It's called these days. Scrolling past X. and
Well,
someone said
whatever.
they had-
Let's call it Cluster
whatever they're
X.
Yeah, they call it a little toxic app. So anyway,
Toxic
this person
X.
put up. Yeah, this person put up a very like positive review for the Marvels, like you said before. Said that they're going back to see it for the 4th time because they just genuinely love it. And you can imagine what the first comment in that section was.
I can
just
imagine,
like,
and it's like you got
yeah.
nothing nice to say. Don't say anything.
Yeah, that's
There's
exactly
plenty
right.
of
Just keep it to
movies
yourself.
I don't like, but I want to
Yeah.
support that user, so I like his or
Yeah.
her review.
Exactly. Like I was just like, you know what? We all got different bloody opinions or whatever. So like just let them enjoy it. If they
Scroll
don't
on
wanna. Like, I
back.
mean,
If people are highlighting me now on Facebook, and I've just had to politely say, okay, I'm going to start blocking you guys because I don't need this blowing up my feed.
exactly.
I politely asked you to not use the highlight button. You've asked me to not poke you,
That's the
or
exact specific thing.
message you, so
Oh,
I think you
God.
can just stop highlighting me because it really is an attention whore approach. It's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm like, I don't even know you. We're just mutual friends. But not
You're a
anymore.
voice on the internet. You're one of the billions.
You're just a dino in the crowd.
He said the thing, Dan. He said the thing.
Yeah, man, he's much more of a fan than I was under the impression he'd be.
So I must ask you
Wow.
guys, you've talked about all your favorite characters. Who are your favorite like one-off characters? Like they're only in one sequel or one scene.
Oh, damn.
Come on, Jack, you can go for it.
Oh, damn, man. What are you doing to me? Okay, you know what? Let me think. It's got to either be between Dita Stark. Dita Stark, who was, I can't think of the actor's name, but he's the bloke who gets ripped apart by the compies, the little tiny little dinos. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a one
I
shot.
think I know what you
Or-
mean. Just the one little
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
being a shitbag.
The one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just getting
Yeah.
ripped apart. Or
You know there's something bad about him, but you don't know what. And they do remind me.
definitely.
This is definitely in Lost World where that franchise definitely becomes more kind of like Aliens, where you're just like, which of these guys is just going to become incompetent down the road?
Oh, absolutely. It was either Dieter or it's probably. You know what? I want to say Dan. I don't know if you'll agree with this, Dan, but I kind of want to say Zara, who is played by
Oh.
Katie McGrath, because
Okay.
that woman did nothing to deserve that. Like
Hey,
that
she-
was
She was not sympathetic, all right? As she
True,
should be.
but
She's a
yeah.
secretary.
yeah, but like Jesus Christ, man! I remember sitting in the cinema watching it, thinking like, this is awesome.
Oh, the assistant
my
in
God.
Jurassic World. It took me a
Yeah,
moment.
Jurassic
Okay.
World. Yeah. She just got absolutely
Freaking
bloody
babysitter. I'm like,
Yeah.
seriously.
just dunked under and bloody impaled and eaten alive.
add
I'm like,
insult
wow,
to
this is-
injury. And then you cut to this Clash of the Titans type shot.
yeah, exactly that shot. And the funny thing is,
The
again, my
pterodactyl snatched
super-
it.
my super like nerd dino brain in the back of my mind was thinking like, ooh, that's gotta suck, because as I know, scientifically accurate that the animal that ate her, they have a second row of teeth in the back of their throat. So it
Yes.
completely comped her down, right? I was like, oh no, she double it out of that. Damn.
Secondary jaw, man. That's so cool.
Yes, very unfortunate. So there are probably those. But now, Dan, what about you? I'd love to hear who your ones are.
Please,
Actually,
please, man.
Yeah, well, first off, just about Zara, it's also funny that like Hoskins, who is the main villain in JW, didn't even die like a terrible death like she did. His death was quite quickly, and like in a few seconds he was done for.
oh, God.
So that's the irony, I guess. Let me see. My favorite one of I guess it must be Dennis Nedry, because he's the original villain. He is he was in the novel, so we know a lot about him that is not described in the movie.
Is he the one who
He-
gets the toilet?
Oh
No,
no,
he's the big raincoat yellow wearing. He's a bloke from Seinfeld.
Oh, that prick. Yeah. Newman.
Yeah, Newman. I was just about to say that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. No, he's great. Especially the hacking device. That's why I think we're encouraged to hate him. I'm gonna go with Ray Arnold, Sam Jackson's scientist,
really?
as well as a tie between him and Bob Peck's bounty hunter character, the game hunter.
Ooh, so yeah, damn. It's funny because you said his actual name now, and I'm like, wait, what? Who?
Yeah,
no,
from
like, no,
Edge of Darkness, Muldoon, Robert.
Robert Muldoon.
Yeah,
I like it. We know the names of the characters, but not most of the actors.
It takes a few viewings to remember it.
Fascinating, because I know them all off by heart by the actual like in character names, but I know none of them. Like that like the line.
His final line where he goes, "Clever girl," and just that's awesome.
And like, if only he had the revolver.
Fun fact. So I knew someone in my college whose dad was one of the militia guys at the very opening as the guys being dragged in, and he somehow, even though he was an extra, got SAG credit. And I was like, well, look at you go.
Very nice.
And
wow.
I don't even think she was crazy about certain movies. Juliet Escobar's her name, but yeah, I think she had interesting stories about how she's always had just indirect people and just little small minor things who have just encouraged her to just pursue all kinds of theater experience, and it's just interesting.
Absolutely.
So you'll find this funny, much like Sam Jackson believes Mace Windu didn't actually die. He also believes his character Arnold didn't die in Jurassic Park.
Nah, absolutely no. He's just walking around very stumped.
I know. He's just asking, "Hey, you paying attention?"
Yeah, well, he's just thinking, "Hey, you want to bring me back?"
You remember that Wayne Knight did the same, didn't he? He did that too. Yeah, he said like, "I was too big of a snack, and it was a small dino, so maybe I could have survived." No, my man.
I love that line. He's like, he's somewhere riding around on velociraptors with one arm. He's just on that island riding raptors.
Yeah. So, it was like he lost his arm in both movies. I'm gonna make a post about that. That's too funny.
Oh, don't you dare, Daniel. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, gosh.
That'll be something interesting.
Yeah, that's just so great.
I can already see it.
And wait, is it the same arm, or is it like the?
It can be if you want it to be. So
it's all about the angles.
Absolutely. Yeah. So where can we find you on the interwebs?
For me, I'm
on the social media.
Hard to find. Yeah, I'm not very hard to find. I'm on Instagrams.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes, at Jack O'Hara 48 on Instagram. And Dan, you're a lot more easier to find.
Well, come on, not that much. We are Jurassic Fans Podcast on Instagram. We are also on Facebook for some reason. That's my real name, actually, Daniel Rodrigues. And for some reason, I love the connection that there is now between Instagram and Facebook because of that. We got 1.5 million plays on the video. So, oh yeah. Love that. Yeah.
You're a bit of success to the show, I suppose, then, Dan, hey?
Come on. that like gives you almost no follow, so what's the point?
But it's about the views, mate. It's about the algorithm.
Yeah, yes, I haven't monetized it yet, so screwed up.
What do you guys got coming up on the main show? What are you gonna review in between? Looking at news or.
Fascinating question, Dan. That's more of your department area, mate.
Yeah, but Jack, that you're always welcome, literally. Because
I'm aware.
Yeah, you have become a co-host, so okay. Yeah,
that's promotion. Everybody hear that?
Yeah, we have to get this covered face of yours and slapped into the profile picture. Anyways, the thing is that as for now, we are doing an audio version of our novel, and then one a discovery. So as there is nothing JP related as for now, but as soon as Cretaceous, no, that's not it. What is that? Hail Theory, yeah,
Hail
love it already.
Man.
Yeah, you see how much I pay attention to this stupid series.
Slipping.
we'll be watching every episode of it and considering each one of them a week, just like we did with Camp Cretaceous. It was a nightmare back in the day when we did it. We're gonna live through it again.
Hey, dream time is over, baby.
Nice.
Oh, gosh.
You think you'll review other dinosaur movies or Jurassic Park ripoffs?
Totally, yeah. You see, there are plenty of other dinosaur movies that we were thinking of watching, especially some really bad ones, because those are the funniest to review. There's a movie, I don't even remember the name.
Dinosaur, yeah.
Yeah, because a girl, her name is Leah. She's from Slovenia, I believe. Yeah, so she recommended this movie that is available on YouTube, so you know what kind of quality this movie has.
Yeah,
and, like, it's got this alien creature that transforms into different dinosaurs. I've already watched it twice. Yeah, and I will be reviewing that.
Oh, fun.
Indeed.
Maybe you can do
movies
Jim
are-
Henson's dinosaurs.
Oh gosh. Oh, we could do Carnosaur, you know?
Totally could do Carnosaur. Yep.
Yeah, Carnosaur is
I've
just
actually
as hideous.
No, I've
yep.
actually never seen that one.
Well,
It's
We could do
pretty
another
nasty.
crossover. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, there was even like an April 1st joke that Fioriti, he kind of made on us. He made a whole video about Carnosaur, and he finished saying that that's the best dinosaur-related franchise that has ever existed, and we
Oh
are all
my
shocked. And then by the end of it, he goes, "April 1st."
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like,
Wow.
ooh, that is a strong opinion.
I
Definitely.
mean, even if you don't like the sequels, don't tell me the originals.
Oh dear Lord!
I
Yeah.
used to see people who were doing body counts, and one of them would talk trash. Oh, Jurassic Park doesn't have the original doesn't have as many deaths, or it's very slow. I'm like, speak for yourself.
Yeah,
Plenty.
that's not the whole idea of it. Yeah, definitely.
Oh man,
Ay, ay, ay.
too
All right.
depressing again.
Yep. It's out there. You don't have to seek it out to encounter it, but it looks like you guys are staying happy and you're avoiding disappointments, so that's good.
Oh,
It's the name of the game, baby.
Name of the game. Whoop. Just named my favorite Crystal Method song. Okay, so you got Daniel and Jack, you be safe out there. It's been a delight. I just was finally fun to finally get this episode done. We love doing all kinds of merchandise, and it's just not everyone's played these Jurassic Park games, so it's
you had to find some real nerds for this, right?
there's something for
Oh,
everybody.
deep cuts, deep
Deep,
nerds,
deep bites.
Yeah.
Ah,
Again, he did it.
I did it. We did it.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show.